Richtofen! Whatever you're thinking of doing, don't do it!
You do not want to meet what's on the other side of that door.
You cannot begin to comprehend the great evil you could unleash.
Awesome. I know, not an Outbreak fan, huh?
I tried, and I really liked it at first, right? Because the first couple times I played it, I was like, wow, this is pretty different. And then I'm like, oh, there's only like these 3 variations of what I can do on the map. And now after that, I'm like, every time I get on with my buddy, it just feels like we're doing chores for 30 minutes to try to prep for the Easter egg. And like, normal Zombies doesn't feel like that, just because I feel like round-based, the progression is constant. And that's really my biggest gripe, is that a lot of things in Outbreak I feel like just are like fetch quests. And it's not bad, but it's just drawn out so that way people play longer, and like, it's a scummy way of putting out content, in my opinion.
Yeah, it feels very oddly limiting. Like, it's this open world experience, so you think, oh man, you could do even more things and complete all these different objectives, but it's weird how the nature of the objectives kind of limits the gameplay, because instead of just killing zombies and doing whatever you want, you have to progress in a very specific way.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't know a ton about game development, but like the zombie spawns, for example, if you made the zombies consistently spawn more kind of like Onslaught, and instead have zombies constantly coming out of the ground within 25-30 meters of the player, so that way you don't have to run for 5 minutes to the other side of the map because you did a trial and then you're trying to complete challenges.
Exactly. Like, and that's a big thing that I felt about kind of Blackout, but also those maps where I feel like they're just so open and there's just kind of nothing in them. Like Verdansk and the Infinity Ward Warzone maps have a lot of really detailed buildings and stuff to explore around, whereas I feel like the Outbreak maps are kind of like a condensed area full of buildings and then just open plains in the other like 2/3 of the map.
I completely agree, and the only Outbreak map that I really like is the Armada one, because it looks destroyed. Like, it looks like a Outbreak actually happened there. But on every other map, it's just completely normal. Like, well, that's not true. I think on the one, I forget what it's called, but it's the one like desert map, they have like the destroyed space stuff. But that's still not enough.
No.
But like, because like, you compare it to Die Machine, for example, like, it's so, the art design in this game for the round-based maps is so good. It's so good. It's immaculate, and the graphics for this game are amazing. And it just, I don't understand why they didn't, like, I would have rather them, like, I really hope for MW3's big open world thing, that they're going to make the map at least aesthetically look different.
Yeah. That's something that, as not great as Vanguard is, the Stalingrad area of that first map and the Shinonuma all look really, really well, like creepy.
I only played Vanguard Zombies once, but from what I saw, the art direction wasn't the problem at all.
No. It's one of the things they focused on because of Cold War. Everyone had that complaint about Cold War.
Yeah, and I'm hoping they'll learn that kind of from the same mistakes, but also, like, in that screenshot from what they've shown, and I know it's literally only the one screenshot of the Mimic,
right?
But there's, like, in the background, it just looks like a Warzone map.
Uh-huh. That's
And,
kind of
like,
what I'm expecting, unfortunately.
Me too. So I guess this will get into the first question. I know you talked a lot about MW3 and the Zombies mode on your podcast, but what are your initial thoughts?
It's really not what I wanted in terms of the big decision. Like, I think the mode in itself could be really fun, DMZ with zombies and no PvP. I feel like there's definitely an audience for that, and I think that's gonna kind of cultivate its own following. But I would have rather, and this is true for Vanguard too, even though there's good things about Vanguard, I would have rather, in these years with Sledgehammer games, I would have rather them just cut their losses, have those studios, Sledgehammer, create their own third-party mode, and then come up with something else, and then let Treyarch actually do all of what they want to do for their own zombie title. I feel like consolidating the resources would have been the best business decision in my eyes.
And part of me is worried because, like, when I look at it from a business perspective, it's like I can see what they're doing because DMZ didn't perform probably to what they wanted to do because they wanted it to be the next big attraction.
Yeah. And they put a lot of energy into it too. Like, there's a lot of stuff in DMZ that is just for DMZ.
And they're going to 100% build off of DMZ.
Do you remember anything relevant about
That's
your
what
Nazi
concerns
stomping grounds?
me. Because DMZ is a lot like Outbreak, where it's like you have
research, but that's what it was.
and that's fine, but you're gonna end up, if they have these being 60-minute sessions, like they're saying, then you're gonna end up doing the same 60-minute sessions and the same missions for at least the 3-month seasons, and that's gonna get old. And on top of that, when you have 24 players in one map and you have vehicles and everything else, how are you going to make me feel like I have my back to the wall? Like there's actually a threat where I'm constantly, fighting.
Enemy appears KIA.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the main criticisms of Outbreak 2 is that, hey, the moment-to-moment gameplay of killing zombies is really good in Cold War, and it's really good in most of Zombies. So how do you get that feeling in this new mode? I think Outbreak is in the best state that it is because you've got so many objectives and so many maps and ways to traverse the map compared to when it first released. But outside of that, just shooting zombies in Outbreak really isn't all that satisfying. It really isn't all that fun.
But I also, even though I said all these things, I don't think like it's completely worth scrapping.
No, not at all. There's something there.
Yeah. Like, I think Outbreak could be great if it had, I guess, a lot more random RNG when it comes to the tasks. Like, instead of escorting a payload, I would rather it be like, kind of like how the trials are, where it's like, hey, for this mission, hold this building, and then all the zombies are going to spawn in that building like it's around.
Right, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I'm hoping the little tasks are. I forget what you call them. There's like contracts within the map itself in DMZ and Warzone, I guess. So I'm hoping that's kind of what that is, where it's like Outbreak has those somewhat side objectives that are marked on your map, but there's only like 3 of them per round, and it's really limiting. So like, I hope having those smaller moment-to-moment quests or objectives really give the moment-to-moment gameplay the energy that it needs and the pacing that it needs.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I kind of, like, I know it's not going to happen, but when they said they have 6, or it isn't going to be 6, like the fire team is 6 people, or is it a fire team of 4 people, but it's 6 groups?
Apparently it's of 6 people, and it's like 4 groups, I think. Yeah.
See, like, I feel like it could be really cool if you had groups limited to sections of the map, and they couldn't interact with the other groups. Like, if you
Right.
had to do an Easter egg where you have to work with, it would kind of be really hard to do. But if you had to get every group to do something for like the big end of season Easter egg or something like that, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But
I
that would be
am
super hard
interested
work.
to see how they do that, and especially balance that. As somebody who primarily plays solo, I've never been one to like really love multiplayer zombies, just because public matches are pretty terrible in my opinion. They don't give you the true experience.
Trust me,
But
the last thing I want to do is worry about somebody else fucking up when I'm trying to get shit done.
exactly, like if you have to coordinate, like I'm thinking like Shangri-La's Easter egg or Shadows of Evil Easter egg.
God,
If you
yes.
have to coordinate with your people, then you're isolating so many solo players from that experience. And if you're balancing it, like I went to Kashi Complex. I don't know if that means anything to you or anybody listening, but there's this smaller dungeon-esque type area to Al Mazrah that you go in, and it's just this super heavy condensed, full of bad guys, full of enemies, and it's clearly not designed to be soloable,
Yeah,
but
no,
people
I
do
know
it because
exactly
people are
what you
crazy.
mean. Because I really liked Modern Warfare 2 when it first came out, and I played DMZ for like a good month straight. But I eventually was getting frustrated because like I'm not the greatest at Call of Duty, and I'm not good at Call of Duty PvP at all. I suck. I don't know why in this game I suddenly got good. Do you want me to pick up the nuke or do you want me to leave it?
Doesn't matter. Whatever you want.
I dare you.
Sorry, I lost my spot.
PvP.
MW2, yes,
You're
PvP.
good. Kashi
Cold War
Complex.
PvP is awesome, but yeah, in DMZ, I got my fucking shit handed to me constantly. So I stopped playing, and it's frustrating because it's like I love the mode, and just like the point that you made in your podcast, why are you coming to kill me for my 4 items when you can get the same stuff on the map?
Yeah, it feels a little bit misplaced. Like, I know there's specific contracts and stuff that require you to kill operators and whatnot, but it almost feels like in poor taste. Like, and even if, you know, you did like PvP, you've got Warzone, you've got
There's
6v6,
a lot
and
of options,
yeah, like something that zombie fans have always liked about zombies, I imagine, is the fact that it is a cooperative. Hey, we're not stressing, we're not worried about killing anybody, we're just kind of sitting here PvE. It's a nice, more relaxed mode, and I feel like DMZ has so much potential. Yeah, you have so much potential for that in DMZ, even if it's not the most like high stakes, incredibly on the edge of your seat stuff. Like,
I would play DMZ all the time if I didn't have PvP, because even then when you go into I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but I know what you're talking about. It's like the big city, or no, it's not the city area. You said it's under Al Mazrah. I know there's that one part in the middle that's super dense, and it's like it's not the city. I'm gonna fucking butcher the explanation. I haven't played MW2 in like
right, it's like high rise.
Yes. And it's fun fighting the AI. I like it. And I also, this might be controversial, I like that they gave the AI the plates. Like, it makes it...
I do too.
Because then you have to actually place your shots, and you can't just run through and like mow down the AI like they're nothing. You have to plan it out. And if I just had to worry about AI, it'd be awesome, because then if someone runs up, it's like, oh, cool, let's go get these guys together. And I think that's what they're going with the zombies direction for MW3.
Hopefully.
Because that is the one thing that I think is going to be redeemable on this mode, because the one super fun thing about DMZ is when it first came out, I remember me and my brother were playing, and we were so like dumbfounded that you could hook up with another group and squad up together to be a 6-person squad.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And that would be awesome for zombies if it's like, oh cool, let me run into your group, and oh my god, you guys need help doing this objective, let's all do it together.
Yeah,
but then
absolutely.
Also you
and
have
like
double the zombies for both groups, so it's possible.
and you have the option to just be like, nope, I'm gonna go solo. Like, you know, there's not this.
Target dropped. There's I love zombies because I can put on music and turn off my brain. It's a perfect
Yep.
thing to de-stress at the end of the day and just relax. And that's kind of the only. I just don't want them to take that away. Like, I don't want it to become where, I guess, the mode is so intensive and it's so, like, you have to constantly be doing contracts or zombies.
Yeah,
on it,
like
or,
try hardy, like
Yes.
yeah.
But
There's room for that in video games in general, but that's never been Zombies. That's never been really Call of Duty in general.
and Call of Duty's definitely evolving, and it has to with age, but at the same time, like, everyone wants it to go back to something like that.
Yeah.
So it's, I feel like Call of Duty is find its identity, and it's kind of hard when a lot of wait. So did Jason Blundell come back to Treyarch? I saw that somebody uploaded a video.
Looks like our strike team found part of a device.
Came on
Any idea what it is?
Yeah, Glitching Queen released a video covering the fact that Jason Blundell went on a JC Backfire live stream. But they didn't talk anything about zombies or what he's doing or anything. It was just kind of casual, which definitely got the feeling of like, nope, he's not back anywhere. He's just kind of hanging around doing his own thing. So.
I'm like, good for him, but I think part of why the last couple
To me, your fate was not in
because
doubt.
the people who really designed it aren't working at Activision anymore. The people who were leading the team, making, you know, everything that pretty much laid the foundation.
Raptor 1 is nearby, strike team.
This
Exfil window
next
is short,
chapter
so
of
take it now if you're ready.
zombies aren't there.
Right, it definitely feels like Jason Blundell and like his team or whatever had a really strong vision and goal for where they wanted to take the zombie mode. I mean, you play Black Ops 4. I don't know how much Black Ops 4 you've played, but like
I
it
want to
definitely
play it
felt.
more so bad. Like, I am obsessed with like my favorite era is of like, I guess the storyline is when the cycle's broken, because I find it so interesting. Cause like I have this working theory, and you can tell me if I'm wrong because you probably know way more about the lore than I do. But so Nikolai, the original cast of characters, the reason why they were like together in every reality was because Richtofen put them into the orb that I can't do. It's not the Canorium, it's the
Summoning key.
yes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so even though that's destroyed, and Nikolai and that's Primus, right? The second
Right.
one? Yeah, even though Primus is dead. Like, I'm not saying Primus and Ultimus are alive. But because in this new universe that Sam and Eddie created, we have, because in this zombies mode, right, Weaver still exists. So if Weaver exists, that's in the universe with Alex and with Mason and Woods. So if you're going with all that, there has to be one version of Takio, Dempsey, and Nikolai that
100%.
are still in this universe. They're not our group, they're not our version of them, but they have to be them. And I think that Project Janus is Richtofen tricking Samantha to sacrifice herself and get rid of or trap the Forsaken. But it also puts Samantha into the ether to, after she has
Exfil no
her
longer
powers,
available.
to
I'll notify you when
possibly,
Raptor 1's back in
I
range.
think, control the zombies in the future. Like, I think she's gonna get, like, pissed again or something. But
I've
I think
definitely
Project
thought about
Janus is
that,
getting
yeah.
the original cast of characters for the, not MW3 Zombies, but for Gulf War. Like, obviously, this Eddie isn't our Richtofen, but he's still Richtofen doing Richtofen things. And the zombies are
They
still,
believe technically it is our Eddie because he's the one at the end of Black Ops 4. He walked through just like this Maxis is the Maxis.
Yeah.
The kid version of them, so they were purified and whatever after Black Ops 3. But like it is them.
So he still should have the same ideology that the other Richtofen who broke the cycle with Pablo, right? That was the...
Yep. He's still up to no good.
Yeah, so if the zombies in the ether is still accessible, Richtofen's gotta be pissed. He's like, again? We're doing this shit again? So there's no way he doesn't get the old gang back together, and he's like, okay, let's do this one more time.
Right? Or he's intrigued and he's like, oh, last time we messed up, but I'm smarter, so I'm gonna do this, and I have this plan, you know?
I would love for him to be less of a good guy. Like, I want the perfect in-between Primus and Ultimus for Richthofen, and I think that would be so cool.
Absolutely. I think that'd be really cool.
Especially, like, dude, unhinged, like, 80s Richthofen, you can't tell me that wouldn't be awesome. Like, especially with all the... I don't know how much, like, real history, you know, but during the 70s, 80s, like, the Cold War era, the CIA would do crazy shit because they were trying to figure out what they could use for truth serums, like, any kind of drugs. So they were straight up just, like... There's recorded parties and evidence and like declassified files that you can read now, where they were just putting like LSD in the punch at the Christmas parties.
Oh
they
yeah.
would constantly like
They're
get
gone.
people high. It like, dude,
what
it would
this
just
do?
be so great for like the amount of crazy and fucked up testing that Richthofen can do because he's the director of Requiem. Like they could go so far.
Absolutely. And like, yeah, I feel like they've been setting up this sort of plan too, because Samantha is back into the Dark Aether and she's got her powers like she did before. And, you know, Eddie is the director and he just kind of pseudo captured, arrested the Requiem team and kind of buried stuff wherever we couldn't find it. So it definitely feels like all the pieces are in place. We've got Peck over here kind of fighting for Requiem, or you know, he's kind of a free agent now. I feel like, and then you got the Ancient Gods, where we got the Dark Aether and the lands, and I just, with the 90s, you know, what is it? Every year in our world is like 10 in the Dark Aether or something, or 4 in the Dark Aether. So there's so much potential for where they can take the story next. It could get as zany as it did before, and I feel like that's kind of the direction the community wants it to go.
Yeah, I want it to be.
World War's a little bit more grounded, and it's actually a little bit more sort of like Black Ops 1, but not quite like Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1 still got really zany with like going to the moon and Shangri-La and all this stuff.
But it has the same feel where it's like every map is like, not that I could see it realistically happening, but the writing makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I'm
it's
never
grounded.
like, oh, that's bullshit.
It's not like you're on Ancient Evil where you're in this completely other underworld with gods and all this stuff, or Revelations where you're in space and it's the Aether instead of a real place. So
yeah. Like, that's why I think Maldur and Toten is, in my opinion, one of the most like artistically pleasing maps, because of how much detail they put into like Berlin being destroyed. It isn't Berlin, right?
I believe so. Yeah, it's in Germany.
You underestimated me. You always have.
The container appears to have captured gaseous...
Berlin Wall, yeah, exactly. Berlin Wall, yeah.
So, speaking of zany and everything, do you think that we'll ever see Victus again, since they're trapped in the Dark Aether? Because there is that one audio recording of, isn't it Samuel saying, like, he's trying to call Richthofen on a phone? Can you hear it? And I think it's classified.
I'm not super certain, but I think anything's on the board right now. I really think that
Failure can haunt
whatever they want to do,
Believe me.
I've thought about, like, you know, we obviously saw a very clear nod to Ultimus and Primus and Ultimus when Maxis stepped out of the portal in Firebase Z, because she had like Takio's katana and the gas mask. Yeah, and Nikolai's goggles. So they still exist, right? They in some way, shape, or form, they existed in the Dark Aether. So whether that's and they still exist presumably in this real world reality too. I think I would like to imagine that Sorry, I'm trying to forget what we do on this step.
What's part are you on? I'm sorry, I've just been like killing you.
Oh, nope, I got it. I remember now. Yeah.
I can help.
No.
I've watched your video a lot. This is my favorite Easter egg to do because getting the dye machine is so much fun.
I think there's a possibility that they could say, hey, there's this outbreak of zombies. We need these 4 people, so they go in the real world and they find the real world Dempsey, Takio, you know, whatever. I don't think, yeah, I think people would love that and also really hate that. I feel like people are like, nope, leave it alone. Like it's its own new storyline. We don't need to.
My biggest fear with it is because, like, so they're gonna. My biggest fear is that they stick with the strike team, kind of.
Yeah,
setting.
I think they're gonna do that no matter what.
Yeah, because they have to, because Activision wants them to make money, and the store makes so much money selling cosmetics, so it's so much easier for them to say, hey, let them play as whoever they're gonna spend money on, rather than make a team. But with that being said, do you know how much money they would make if they made Takio, Nikolai, Dempsey, and Richtofen each their own character, and they gave them each their own bundles? I would shell out so much money.
Yeah.
I'm
100%. I would too.
Even if the game was bad. Even if the game was bad. Just so I could get Dempsey say KIA Zombitch. Oh my god.
Yep. 100%.
I don't know about you, but do you have any favorite voice lines that you miss hearing? Because the one thing that in Cold War that I feel like it lacks is the, like, I love Max's voice lines, but every other character, I haven't heard them say anything, like, really beneficial or funny.
Oh yeah. It's incredibly, like, not annoying, but just kind of sad. Where it's just like, I'll go back and I'll play like Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3, and there'll be some really genuinely funny voice lines that I'll kind of giggle to myself about. But then going here, it's kind of just like, enemy down. And it's just like, that's so boring. Like, they kind of helped alleviate it a little bit in Vanguard with the gods being the field upgrades and them having their own voice lines, but it's just not the same. It's not the grounded and immersive experience that I think it very well could be.
I mean, you might have seen it. I think part of what made Zombies such a phenomenon was that we had these characters that, despite being in such dire circumstances, all had quirky, stereotypical kind of personalities for the armies that they were a part of.
Absolutely.
But also, like, they never, like, didn't say generic stuff. Like,
They were characters.
Yeah. Like everyone has their favorite character, but like I never got disappointed like playing as anyone, because even Takio's lines when he's talking about honor and stuff were awesome. And then like he has the one line, I think, or maybe it's Richtofen. Someone, when you go up to the painting in Kino, says, "I hate you, Nikolai," and there's never an explanation for it, and it makes me just think like maybe he just like fucked him one time in the cycle and like turned a trap on and just left him on, and one of them died. But it's like little things like that when you let the player make little headcanon, and that's, I think, what made Zombies so special.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, just these little quirks and stuff that, I don't know, like, you get that sort of interaction. It takes a lot of time, for sure. It takes a lot of thought and care in writing, and obviously I think writing for these operators is like 10 times easier. But even still, it's like, put in the effort and make the good content, you know?
Yeah, because if it's not like people wouldn't spend the money.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like in Black Ops 4, we had face paint and some stuff, and in Black Ops 4, everybody was like really crying about not having Battle Pass progression, which is why it was such a big deal in Cold War. I remember people freaking out in Cold War because, oh my goodness, we got Battle Pass progression, oh my goodness. And like, if there was that sort of customization for the Chaos crew or the Blood of the Dead crew, where you could get all these uniforms, like,
I haven't been able to play any of the maps, but I watched the entire, like, all the cutscenes and everything, and like I'm kind of pissed that it's on a cliff. and that,
Yeah.
like, I don't know if they're ever gonna bring them back. I would like to, but with
Right?
the direction they're going in the story and everything, I just don't know if it's going to happen. And
It would take
because,
so
like,
much.
yeah, especially because like the team that made that story, I don't think is with Treyarch anymore.
Right?
Not
I
even just
think-
Jason Blundell, but I don't think that they definitely don't have
had a similar chamber in case of radiation exposure.
the developers.
It appears the device has been extensively modified.
Right. I definitely think that's a part of it. And kind of what I was saying earlier was like, you can have that crew that left or, you know, is pursuing different projects, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the quality is going to go down. Like, I see that, unfortunately, quite a lot where people are like, oh man, all these developers are gone, Treyarch is done, they don't know how to make zombies anymore, and it's like...
No, I think
Cold War?
MW3 will suck, but I think Gulf War Zombies will be amazing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. It's like Cold War has things in it that I don't think Jason Blundell would ever put in a zombies game.
No,
I don't think he would be
would've
down
put,
for
like, ammo crates
salvage
in.
or... Yeah, exactly.
But, like,
there's...
now that I have that, I don't want it
Yeah.
out.
Exactly. Like, I've never been a fan of the whole ammo conservation, and going back and playing older zombie games, I'm like, man, it kind of sucks. I just run out of ammo because, I don't know, I got to a round where my bullets don't do anything anymore. I've never liked that about zombies.
No,
but
I'm right there with you because it halts the progression in the game, and that's why
Yeah.
I feel like the older zombies maps, yes, they're a lot harder, but like that's why I feel like I come back to Cold War more than I go back to MW3 because I'm not getting my dick kicked in every time that I
Yeah.
play zombies. Like I don't
That's
have
why I like
to stress
Black
if
Ops
I
3.
just want to use one gun.
Yeah, that's why I like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, because the high rounds actually have like specific things you can do and actually strategize and interact with the world, as opposed to just kind of go through this trap. Okay, now go through this trap. Okay, now, you know, like, it's not this kind of boring and limited play style, I guess.
Yeah. And it gives the players so much more progression themselves too, because like every time I play zombies, I've been trying to get Dark Eater, so I'm focusing on specific guns, but it's nice that I get to do that. Like, I can just focus on trying to get salvage and then upgrading my gun through that way.
gone.
But also, like, if I don't want to do that and I can hit the box for a wonder weapon or whatever other gun at whatever rarity I want to get it at, like, there's so much more freedom in Cold War Zombies than previous, and I think that that's something good going forward. Like, it's... Like, I don't think ammo crates should ever be gotten rid of. I don't think salvage should be getting rid of. Like, I think that we should build on these things more. Like, it would be cool if my gun started with no attachments and we add a third thing to the workbench where you can build attachments on your gun with salvage as well.
Right, absolutely. I like what is in Cold War, but I do tend to agree that it's a little bit too easy. Like,
yeah, this is zombies on baby mode. That's why I
but
like
that
it.
being said, I still really like the idea of these really overpowered attachments and perks and all this stuff. But it's how we get it and how we earn it is what's going to be the difference maker to me, and how much enjoyment I get from those systems.
I should not be here.
I think at the end of the day, we just both need to get introduced in game design and start developing the next zombies mode.
Oh man, I've spent so long thinking about like game design and like what I would do if I was in their position and all this sort of stuff, and nothing I come up with is ever as ooh. Go ahead and grab it yourself. I think I'm a little too far away. Oh, you have one. Oh, very nice. Well, nice. Yeah, anything I come up with is just never as smart as whatever Treyarch comes up with.
Come on.
I do really like the in Vanguard. There's a way to upgrade your field upgrades in game with the little heart things that they give you every round or so.
That better than getting the Ethereum crystals after the game and upgrading and coming in with like level 5 jug. I think
Yeah.
that's cool because the more progression and the more that I feel like zombies can be first-person shooter but also survival horror, I think that is how you evolve zombies.
Yeah.
If you make me a fast-paced, like, I'm not Resident Evil, but Resident Evil's a good example of it because you have puzzles the same way that zombies has Easter eggs.
Right.
Don't limit me on ammo and stuff like that. Limit me on my abilities to become powerful. So that way, instead of like how Outbreak is, where it's just a bunch of tasks that's far away, and that's how they make it draw out longer, make me draw out longer by having to get different resources and decide, okay, am I going to upgrade the rarity of my gun to the next tier, or am I going to give myself a red dot with faster ADS?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I don't know, are you familiar with Doom Eternal?
Yeah, I love that game. Oh my god.
Oh man, like it's like one of my favorite first-person shooters of all time. I think, and I talk about it probably a little bit too much on my channel about zombies and stuff, but even like the smallest little change of incorporating other gameplay dynamics, like if we had a system, like I like the armor system for what it is, I think it's okay, but I don't like how there's not a way for the player to immediately get armor back other than going to the armor station itself.
I
so
think
what?
It would be better if it was more like an arena shooter style, where instead of me having to drop body armor, and I'm pretty sure the reason why it drops body armor and stuff like that is just to cut on development time, so that way they don't have to make a different system. But I think it would be better if it was like you have to pick up armor pieces, kind of like in Wolfenstein and Doom, where you only get plus 10 for each little piece you pick up.
Yeah.
But then if you kill like a boss zombie or something, then you can get a fifth, like that's when you get the whole chest piece or something that'll fill your whole armor.
Yeah. More importantly, I like how Doom forces you to use the systems in order to get the reward. So even if we took something like, kind of exactly like Doom Eternal does, where fire damage drops armor pieces, that alone would be super fun for Cold War. Like, if you had a Molotov and you're like, oh, I'm low on armor, well, cool, let me get a Molotov, throw it down in a horde, boom, they all drop armor shards. Now I'm interacting with these really fun pieces of equipment, but also I'm getting armor through it, so I'm kind of solving two things at once. I'm interacting with two systems, and I'm being rewarded for both of them, as opposed to just randomly being dropped armor whenever, you know?
To piggyback off that idea, wouldn't it be fucking cool if, like, how we have elemental wonder weapons, right?
Uh-huh.
Your fire elemental wonder weapon, your buddy that has that, because you're getting 4 people together to do the Easter egg, he's the one who can get everybody on the team armor. Like, you have your person with the cryo one slow everybody down, then he heats everybody up with the fire, you murk everyone, and then bam, everyone's armor is full before you do the next Easter egg step. Like,
or even frost damage, like ice, like cryo freeze, or the ice wonder weapon, like they drop ammo instead of, you know, whatever. Like, instead of just freezing them, they also drop ammo. If you're toxic growth and your turned people dropped salvage, like just giving players a way to manually have a hand in getting these resources would be super engaging.
Yeah, and I guess that's the fun part about it, is because even if they fuck up MW3, it's not like Call of Duty's going anywhere. And Gulf War will have round-based. Like, there's no way, because even whether MW3 goes good or bad, marketing-wise, they know that they will make money if they have round-based nodes, because it's worked the same way for almost over 10 years now, right?
Oh, yeah. And like, now more than ever, too, because so many people who both like and dislike zombies in its current state are both like, well, don't worry, 2024 is going to do this. Don't worry, 2024 is going to do this. So there's already this machine of hype and expectation where, oh man, it's going to be disappointing no matter what, ironically. But like, I imagine it's probably going to be the closest we get to what zombies we want. It's probably not going to look like what a lot of people want it to look like, and that's a video that I'm thinking about making soon, but it's like, that'll be really what we see what Treyarch has up their sleeve and what they really want to focus on, because there's really no excuses. There's no developmental excuses anymore like there was with Vanguard or there is with Modern Warfare 3. You know, 2024 has been in the works since 2021, so it's been like 3 years, so
no, and it's
whatever that is.
Like, there's
Yep.
no... And they haven't, as far as I know, there hasn't been any more, like, sexual harassment allegations or anything like that at Sledgehammer or Treyarch or anything like that. So there's no legal issues going on right now either, and the deal with Microsoft went through, as far as I know. So Microsoft is going to own it. So I am assuming 2024 COD is going to be on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. Or some form or fashion of something.
Yeah. And it's going to evolve a bit, but it has to stay close to the core. Otherwise, they're going to make the same mistakes as Halo Infinite. And then you're going to have a player base who is surging for the first month of your game, but then everyone's like, okay, where's the rest of it? That's the problem. And because they've probably lost so much money with Halo Infinite, now that they acquired Activision and everything else, they know they
went
can't
free to
fuck
play.
it up.
Like, oh yeah.
And I think that's part of why I don't think that MW3 was supposed to have zombies. I think that it was supposed to be DMZ 2.0, the same way Warzone had Warzone 2.0. But they're trying to get that hype train early, I think. Because from a business and marketing perspective, if I can get everyone excited this year, and then next year I go, okay, all the old CODs are going to have their servers fixed and be on the Game Pass, and I'm going to put the next Gulf War on, so nobody has to pre-order it. Then at launch, let's say we have 2 round-based maps, like, that game would sell. That game would fly off the shelves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're in such a good position to capitalize off of the excitement and the hype of whatever they have coming next. But I do worry because looking back into
particularly interesting.
crossbow,
I've never gotten it.
it's not bad, but it's not great. It's niche, but it's not gonna like wow you or anything.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use. Oh,
Death machine available.
But I am worried because, like, looking back throughout all of the zombie releases that we've had at launch, there's been no zombie release that, like, people have thought was amazing. Like, maybe Black Ops 1, you know, because Zombies was brand new and, oh my goodness, it was exciting. But, like, Black Ops 2 had Transit, and, oh my goodness, Transit's this horrible, terrible thing. And
everyone did, okay, I need to say my piece on that. I get everyone. Transit, the fog, Denizens, annoying. I'm right there with everyone else. But my nostalgia, I love that fucking map so much.
It's definitely unique, and I feel like we're, especially now, whether the community knows it or not, I think we're definitely in a unique position to where we appreciate the things in the past a little bit more now than we did when they were happening. But that being said, you know, you look at the release of Black Ops 4, and yes, Black Ops 4 had a ton of issues in terms of stability and performance and all that stuff, but we've got 3 like huge maps and 4 maps technically on launch.
Yeah, no, that game, I remember
so many Easter eggs, so much content, the difficulty settings, the bots, the custom mutations. Like, it's insane how much content we got in Black Ops 4. But even that release was like panned because everyone thought, oh well, this is just quantity over quality, this is ridiculous, like they really should have spent more time on these maps.
Little did we know.
And then here's Cold War and Vanguard, and it's like, oh my goodness, man. But even compared to, like, you know, you compare Blood of the Dead, which a lot of people hit or miss, but there's so much to that map, and there was so much to that map on launch.
The sheer Easter egg and the what that does for the story of Zombies propels it forward so much.
Absolutely.
And,
But you
like-
compare that and 9 and Voyage and Classified to Shadows of Evil and the Giant, which are amazing maps. I love Shadows of Evil and I love the Giant. But it's just not a comparison. There's just so much more content in Black Ops 4, and then you go to Black Ops 3 and the content was so great. Like everyone says, oh my goodness, like Black Ops or Shadows of Evil is like a top 3 zombies map of all time. But I was very much there during the launch of Black Ops 3, and everybody was hating on it. They're like, this is dumb, this is too complicated, what are these aliens? Like, they ruined the story. So there's never been...
Digest, and I feel like now
Yeah.
people like it because they see where they were going with the whole thing. Like, I can totally get doing the Shadows of Evil. Like, if I had done the Shadows of Evil Easter egg when it came out, before everything else, I would have been like, why did Rick Dalton just do that? Why?
Yeah.
Like, I would have been pissed. But
Yeah.
knowing the implications of him just being like, I'm taking this and you guys are gonna die. Every time I see that cutscene, I fucking, like, I'll spit out my drink. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's got so much charm.
And that's so Rick Dalton.
Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff where if we had that, I don't think we would recognize what greatness that is. So that's why I'm also kind of worried about 2024, where it's like they could release Shadows of Evil, they could release these amazing maps, and the community just because of
like I'm sorry I keep cutting you off. I have
No,
really
you're
bad
good.
ADHD, so I just blurt. But,
Oh, good.
Like with Die Machine, like this is my favorite recreation of Nocturne and Totem. Like this isn't a remaster.
Well,
it's a fucking
plenty of
remake.
subjects.
And not only is it a remake,
Ideas.
they added
This
on to
entire
the map.
idea
Like, you
is
have
already beyond the pale.
The entire,
I wouldn't
like,
even know where to
little
begin with a
common
recommendation.
area, and then you have spawn, and you have the crash plane, like, and the crash plane calls back to how the original, like, Nocturne Totem started, where the plane crashes, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Like,
and that's how the
it's-
zombies got out. But
Uh-huh.
I like that. So, like, what does this universe, look like? What does this universe, like, okay, so we don't know anything about, other than Dr. Vogel and, Lead, what, End Station, right? This Project
Yeah.
End Station. Other than here, we don't know what Project End Station did. And, like, there's
Right.
no way he was the only scientist and this was the only place that they had the teleporter or anything
Yeah.
like that. And I'm not saying that they found, like, a pyramid on the moon or anything like that, but, like, what if they make a Paris map and use, instead of making it, like a moon remake, make it similar to Moon, but make it on Paris like how they originally intended. So you'll still have your no man's land, you still have these areas that are like Moon, but you could have it be different because it's a different universe. So instead of remastering and just using nostalgia so that way they can make a great buck, do more stuff like Die Machine. Like, it could, dude, the possibilities are limitless. There's, like, over 30 maps in total, right?
Oh yeah, there's like 50 right now.
Yeah, so, like, dude, it's literally endless on what they could do.
Yeah, I think you're gonna find I'm kind of at the point where I'm really done with remasters and reimaginings just after Black Ops 4. And especially with Modern Warfare 3 right now, releasing with just Modern Warfare 2 maps, I think that's a very dangerous route to go on in the industry. I feel like that's a very...
What I was saying in the Discord about that?
Ooh, I didn't know.
Okay, so this is my whole theory with that. I mean, I would almost put my whole life savings on this. Modern Warfare 3 is just the free update that was supposed to be for Modern Warfare 2 because the game was supposed to be supported for 2 years.
Yeah.
They knew last year when they released Modern Warfare 2, they knew exactly what everyone wanted was Modern Warfare 2 that they played in 2008 or 9. I might be fucking up the release, but whatever.
And the first year was supposed to be this new, here's the next Modern Warfare 2, and then, hey, here's this, like, nostalgic edition, maybe for $40 or something. Here you
And
go, have all
for
these
the
maps.
whole
And
first year they had that game out, they put those maps in the game, but only in Warzone or only in
Yep.
DMZ. And that made me so furious that I uninstalled. And now that coincidentally in the fourth quarter of this year they released that, oh, we're actually going to put out Modern Warfare 3 instead. We're going to do another annual release, even though we said we wouldn't. Like, a Treyarch spokesperson said that they were not doing annual releases. That shit is fact. So I'm sure they had this plan for Modern Warfare 2's release, and that's why they were so radio silent on when the maps were going to be added, because this was the plan from the beginning. Because whoever didn't buy Modern Warfare 2 last year is going to buy it this year, because they're going to want to play on Rust, they're going to want to play on, I almost said Transit, Terminal.
Terminal, yep.
High Rise, like, everyone's going to want to run back to that. And why wouldn't they? Those maps were amazing. But you're not giving me anything new. And even the Modern Warfare 3 campaign is just going to be reused assets from Warzone, which I understand. And, like, look, I understand development is stressful and it takes time to come up with maps and writing and everything like that. But how come every game prior to 2015 was pretty original?
Yeah, I know. Like, and it's almost, I see this too a little bit, well, mainly in the multiplayer community. And maybe it's just me not understanding what people like about the maps. But, like, I feel like there's been fairly good maps in all of the recent Call of Duties.
Yeah,
like, you know.
Modern Warfare 2 had good maps. Like, not
Yeah,
Modern Warfare 2
and
22. Like, last year, I did not
Yeah.
have a bad time playing that game.
I really enjoyed those
at
maps.
all.
Obviously, you had like your border crossing, whatever, but like every
I know
game
everyone
has
hates
those
that
like
map.
weird, stupid
I
maps,
love
you know?
that map. So
Yeah.
the reason why, alright, this is my biggest bitch gripe and complaint about Call of Duty. I don't like advanced movement. That's why I play Halo. That's all it is. I don't like, because I come from a military background and everything, and I know that this is an arcade shooter. I'm not expecting ultra realism from Call of Duty. But nothing makes me more mad when someone jumps around the corner and slides when I'm like, you're wearing 200 pounds of gear and you at least have like 100 rounds of ammo. Bullshit. Like,
Right?
I
like,
love the fact that I know how to clear rooms and check corners, and I know actually how to like do things, and it pays for like other games. Like,
Yeah.
when I play Tarkov, or if I play, like, even when I play Dark and Darker as an archer, I have an advantage because I know what I'm doing. In Call of Duty, I don't. In Modern Warfare 2, the first month it came out, when nobody knew the maps and people didn't know the advanced movement because they had changed it from 2019, I had so much fun because the maps felt like they were made for you to go slower. Like,
yeah.
That's why I
There's
like
a-
crossing, because if you didn't just run into the middle like a dumbass and you went slow on those angles, the other team was running straight into fatal funnels the whole time. Like that.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2 is the only game that I've ever gotten like chopper gunners on or anything like that, and it was just because I knew where to place myself.
Yeah, I very much, I got into Call of Duty first in the campaign, but then in the multiplayer side in Black Ops 1 and the original Modern Warfare 2 and then Modern Warfare 3. But back in those days, we had Woody's Gamertag on YouTube. I don't know if people remember him, but he had these guides and he showed you how to play these maps, and his big thing was like control the engagement. Like, don't run in the middle. Like, that's where the baby buffalo go. Like, you've gotta be smarter about it, and that sort of mentality, we've turned away from that, and we've turned into this, well, I just want to run around, I just want to, you know, jump in the middle, and I just want to rely on gunfights, I just want to rely on my gun skill. But like, in any first-person shooter, even Halo, even Gears of War, if you're just running around with no cover, like, you're at the disadvantage. Like, it's gonna take a lot. Yeah. Now, yes, in movement shooters like Titanfall and a little bit Halo too, like, you can kind of, yeah, you can outmaneuver people, but you still have to be thoughtful in those movements. And so all Call of Duty's movements is cover to cover and, you know, half cover and head glitches and moving through those covers. It may not be as fun or as, like, thrilling, but that's what Call of Duty has been. Like, it's been this tactical arcadey mix for its whole life. Like, you know, going back, I have this theory of Modern Warfare 2's maps, the remastered ones coming out. I feel like people aren't going to like them because they're going to say, oh, well, the game is too slow-paced. Oh, well, the game is too this. No. No, the maps
Rust
also
is not
played very...
going to be as fun as it
Dude,
was before because
Afghan is so campy. Afghan is Sniper's Paradise. Like, Wasteland is obviously Sniper's Paradise. But then you've got, you know, Favela, like... Yeah.
Because the whole game is basically like pop your 2 Adderalls, snort a line of cocaine so that way you can run at Mach 10 and murk people. So, like, how Wasteland is it just a open field and trenches? How's that gonna work? When everyone...
People are gonna complain. They're just camping in the trenches. They're just camping at the entrance here. It's like, yeah, it's Wasteland. Like, that's how it was back in 2009. Like, that's what it's always been. Favela, people have been camping on the rooftops. Terminal, people have been camping on that, like, air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it is. Or camping the hallway. Like, that's how I played those maps.
Raptor 1 in range for extraction.
I think it's really either gonna sink or swim.
Yep.
But, and like, I would rather it's not like I'm rooting for this game to do bad because I want people to have a bad time. I just want Call of Duty to be good again. Like, especially, and I think everyone universally agrees, in the last few years, games are more about making money than having a good experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really, really like Call of Duty to get away from that. Because I feel like Call of Duty is at the point where it's too big. Like, with Warzone, Call of Duty Mobile, they're never going to run out of money. Please, I would rather you take 2 years to give me a good fucking game. Instead of just shoving
throwing grenade.
That should have been free. These maps should be free in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely don't like paying for the same content we got a while ago.
If anything,
But
Modern Warfare 3 should be $30. It should be a $30 campaign deal.
Right. Or even, I'd be fine with $40, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's
because,
a lot of new guns.
Because new guns, zombies, I'll take it.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people have that mentality of like, oh my goodness, Call of Duty's just in it for the money, which I think is true in a lot of ways. But also, I still think that Call of Duty is full of developers who do care about the product that they make. Like, for as and for as bad as Vanguard was, like, the art direction, like, people cared about how
They also didn't give up on Vanguard.
Yeah, like, they gave us what we wanted in terms of a round-based mode. Like, they were like, oh, you want this? Okay, here you go. Like, we thought we were going to do this thing because it's easier for us, but we'll stop development on this thing for what you want us to do. So, like, I definitely feel...
no, you guys don't know what you want. We're going to keep doing this. Like, other companies, like the people that remade Saints Row and, like, Halo, for example.
Or GTA.
Oh my god, yeah.
Do you want to come down here and hit this button?
Sorry, I've been focusing on where are you at the Easter egg?
I'm at the, I captured the Megaton. Are you boss fight ready yet?
I won't go down. I'll run around. You have the bounty.
There you go. Do you have a D machine yet, or a D? I can drop this for you.
No, I'm good. I'm good at being slippery.
No, but you need the gameplay with this thing.
No.
It's double pack-a-punched already. You can triple pack it.
No, you do it. I'll
You have the gameplay.
This, I really like this Easter egg a lot, and I think it's really cool that you can find, like, the documents after, or the recordings of him in the Dark Ether after this Easter egg.
Yeah. There's so many little details. I love the intel system in this. I need to make a video on it because...
That's, okay, I wanted to talk
going
to you
back,
about that.
Yeah. Going back and playing Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, and just trying to sit there on solo while, like, killing all the zombies and trying to listen. Oh, it's terrible. But this, like, you can sit there and you can listen and you can, like, do all of these things and just have your time to focus on the story. It's super nice.
project and station's real purpose.
And
We're sure as shit not gonna find him.
No, you're good. You're good. We still got one more step. We still got one more step. So you can go back to your training spot.
Oh yeah, we have to get the picture, right?
Yep.
I'm going to, while all those guys filter out, I'm gonna run back down really fast and then triple tap my AK.
Yes. What do you need? There's actually a couple of these big guys I'm gonna try to take out. Who?
Purple? I'm good. I could probably run up to the I have my essentials. I have the Tesla ability, so
Perfect.
double back with that wire.
Nice. What rarity do you got?
Purple.
Yeah, me too. It's around 22.
Yeah.
Armor, you've got 3 armor. Very good. The amount of people, I will play custom maps or custom matches here in Cold War, and the amount of people that don't get armor and like, oh, it's sad. It's scary.
Dude, armor. The one thing I love about this game is how much you can tank hit. This
Yep.
game is so good at doing it the right way.
Get down, ugly.
Alright.
Max has said, "Get down, ugly." See, like little things like that make it so much better. There was something that I was going to say.
I will fill many graves this day.
One second, my brain's going into overdrive trying to
Yep.
figure out what it was.
It's hard to talk and do things at the same time. Alright, I
I lost it. Fuck it.
believe I'm ready to get the picture, but
I'll run up and grab a couple more perks just so that way I have depth perception and stuff. But
Yeah.
then I'll be good to go.
But no, I guess just to summarize a little bit, I think zombies will be fine. I don't think people leaving, like I work in a business and I hear that occasionally, like, oh man, if this person leaves, then it's going to be terrible. But nah, people are very capable. If you have capable people, you're going to have a good product. And people who love and care about zombies still work there, even if it doesn't look exactly like it did in Black Ops 3. It's okay. Like,
I don't think that people leaving is the problem. This is a very controversial opinion that I'm gonna say.
Ooh.
I think the biggest problem with zombies is that bigger zombies YouTubers have been a lot more negative, and they also haven't been like, no one has looked back, open-minded, and no one's looked back into this game in 2 years other than you. Like, I haven't been able to find a single fucking video that is anything relevant to Cold War that isn't more than a year old, really, other than you. And that's what I was going to talk to you about with the intel. Sorry, we can call that zombies if you want. I'm talking. With the intel, I think there's a lot of clues in this game that people haven't figured out yet. Like, I've been looking at parts of the intel. Okay.
There is no advantage in turning it down.
Only because this gun is badass. Here, take this. This gun's better.
Hand it over
Ooh,
before they
thank
are
you.
on me again.
Oh, there we go.
Bye-bye.
Intel.
Oh,
Me.
yes, thank you.
2 years.
There's a lot of there's a lot of intel that people haven't looked at. Like, I was reading through the initial analysis of why Richtofen picked like Weaver and the rest of the cast, and like I think like how the precision says they're gonna die, they 100% are. Richtofen picked them because
I'm
they're
so excited.
because of that. Like, Weaver,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure died in Black Ops 3, right?
I don't. Actually, maybe. Actually, he might have. Yeah.
I might be fucking wrong, but I thought he died, but I expect them all to die because that would make zombies have more severity. Like,
Yeah.
it makes it a little more serious than just, okay, the strike team is fine, these people are always okay. Like, I think when they got arrested at the end of Forsaken, I think that they 100% are gonna die, and like, this is all what Project Genius is.
You know what would be sick? I just thought of just now. If at the first map of Gulf War, or like the direct continuation, like all of those guys that were part of Cold War here in Requiem, they are put in that prison. What if the first map is trying to escape the prison with Peck and all these people, but at the very end they all die, just like the Forsaken said,
so
and that
good.
kicks
If
off
that was the
a whole
Easter
new
egg and you
crew,
played
and oh
with
my
those
goodness,
four,
Max is here.
oh
Oh
my
man,
God. Dude, that would be I have chills thinking about that. That would be fucking
like,
perfect.
like they could do that. Like there's just so much
And imagine
they could
what
do.
that would do for the community.
Yeah.
And going back to that, and that's what I was getting on with saying with like the zombies community. No one's really looking into this game anymore. I think if people
Lethal
started
even from a
deep diving
distance.
into this and realizing how many details they really gave us in this,
Yeah.
because there is
Like,
a lot, and maybe
I
it's just
follow,
because, like I used to be a cop, so I know how to like read between the lines and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I wanted to ask you because I have some notes and stuff that I wanted to either show you or stuff because I don't know if I'm gonna make a video on it ever, but I definitely wanted to talk about it with somebody because like 100% I think that there is going to be another group, and regardless of it being Strike Team or whatever, like there is going to be another 4 characters, and it's not going to be the 4 characters in this game. I think Peck will always be around. Because his character is so intriguing. In the same way, he is almost like, I feel like a different version of Rick.
Yes, I would agree with that. I think, and just like thinking about Cold War, how much cooler would it have been if like you played as Weaver in Firebase Z, or even Ravenoff in Firebase Z, and you saved Maxis from the Dark Ether, and then in Forsaken, spoiler alert, if you played as Weaver again, and you were there, like, in the building fighting the Forsaken with Maxis, and then you were there and you saw Maxis, or Weaver saw Maxis in real life, sacrifice herself into the Dark Ether to save everybody. Like, that would have been so much more potent as a character for him, as opposed to just a little icon on the bottom right of our screen, or some text, you know, like, Sam, don't do this, and, you know, like, it would have been so much more power. So I feel like Weaver, Ravenoff, any of the people, I like Dr. Gray, obviously.
Dr. Gray
Obviously,
is
I
a
think
really
she's
good
fun.
character, and not only because
she gets the most
she's
genuine
a fucking
laugh out of me.
civilian. She's not military. That
I
is
feel
the
like they could do
coolest
so
detail.
much.
And I also feel like Richtofen did it on purpose to make her more, like, discardable.
Yeah.
But, and I think that he also picked her as a civilian because that would be the only person that Sam would be open to. She wouldn't be open to anyone military or anything because of all... Eddie knows that even if she doesn't have her memories, one day she's going to. And on top of that, she's gonna hate all of, like, every government. Like,
I think that's what this Dark Aether is gonna do. I think it's gonna bring back the memories, and it's just gonna unravel all this
and
stuff.
I want her to be fucking angry again. Like,
Yeah.
she said, I think it's the Alpha and Omega Easter egg, but she says to Eddie, like, we're gonna go to war and it's gonna be a great war. I want that shit again. I want Sam versus Requiem and Omega because of what Eddie did.
Like, the boss fight of saving her from the Dark Ether should be her, and like you're containing her and like trying to purify her or something.
Yeah,
like,
because it should be like she's finally so, like, she has so much of the power from the Dark Ether, from so much exposure, that she should be bad. Like, I don't want her to be good. I don't want a hero. I want to see, like, I almost want to see the downfall of her, like the
an
way that
anti-hero.
the
The struggle of the good and the bad and the power.
How in Moon, you fucking, after you do these guys,
I must confess, Weaver, I did not believe this would work. I commend your out-of-the-box thinking.
Yep, like we've seen whoever the Forsaken, whoever he was, the Zygoff, you know, he struggled with his power. We've seen Cortifex in Vanguard want to be this ultimate power Like, we've seen what this power does to people, so I'd love to see that continued on and see how Maxis interacts with that. I follow a...
Wait, Cold War, I can jump off.
Cold War, come on. I follow Call of Duty lore facts on Twitter, or it might be CoD Zombies lore facts. He's great. I think he follows me, and because he's tweeted about some of the stuff that I've said on my channel. Pretty close together, but he has some amazing stuff where it's like, hey,
Anyone need new armor?
this is canon to this. You need it more than I do. He'll be like, hey, this is canon to this, or hey, Samantha Maxis does have her memory from the original Aether storyline, and so does Eddie, and like confirming all of this really cool stuff. And that's I've been following him a lot,
like,
and I think
it's totally confirmed that it's 100%
Yeah.
Eddie remembers everything, because when they said fucking he set up Requiem, it says in the first thing the director basically picked himself for the role.
Yep. Like, and it's it makes so much sense why he would too. Like, I just think it could be, like, I do miss the Black Ops 3 version of, like, you know, the Zetsubo's Noshima type maps where they're really beautiful and over the top. I love Broad Provy, like the dragons and stuff. I love that. Yep.
That is the hardest shit, in my opinion. I
So-
don't think there's a single video game cutscene that goes harder than that, except maybe the one in Wolfenstein when his wife is like naked and shooting Nazis. That's pretty badass. But like,
like there was this during Black Ops 3 and especially Black Ops 4, there was this sentiment of like, hey, Zombies isn't grounded anymore. You know, I miss Black Ops 1 days where it was more sci-fi rather than fantasy. But Cold War gave us a good sci-fi, and I kind of miss the fantasy a little bit. Like, I think the best thing about Zombies is that it can be anything.
well, there's
like,
hope, right? Because in Outbreak we have the fucking dragon thing.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Exactly. And the Orda. And the Orda's awesome. Like, I love that in Outbreak.
Big, scary fuckers. Like, give me more of that.
Exactly. And one of my favorite things is, like, the Final Reich from World War II is, like, some people's favorite zombie experience. Like, they love the Final Reich. It's so haunting and atmospheric. And then you have another group. Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have another group of people. I didn't either. But then you also have, like, the Zombies in Spaceland, which is just this cartoony, wacky, over-the-top, ridiculous zombie experience.
Like, I remember playing it and having fun. Like, I know it was different, but it wasn't bad.
Oh, no, not at all. But, like, those things are so tonally different, but both of them are zombies. Like, both of them have a place in zombies, and that's why fantasy, sci-fi, whatever, like, you can do it in zombies. That's one of my favorite things about zombies, is that it can be anything to anybody.
And it
so
can still go so much more. Like,
exactly. Zombies is not one thing.
They fuck with space and time. So it's like, the Dark Fate really can have fucking anything.
Like, it could be 2024, and instead of Gulf War, they could have that in the continuation of the Cold War storyline. But we could also just have, hey, here's the Chaos storyline back again, just because we can. Like, they could do so much.
Just give me fucking one map.
Like two maps. You know, like, here's the setup, here's the payoff. You know.
Especially because the Easter eggs in those maps
Raptor 1 is inbound, strike team. Get the hell out of there.
It wasn't like your typical Easter egg.
So good. I would highly recommend it. I'm spoiler alert, I'm making guides on all of the Zombies games as much as I can.
I'm gonna do everything that I possibly can do solo, and I really want to find like a group of 4 people that will actually go through all of the maps.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find people that will actually like do it. At least in my friend group, I don't really have any other friends that play Call of Duty. A lot of my friends.
Nah, me either.
And that's like, I'm not even gonna lie, that's part of why I hit you up. And joining the Discord.
Right.
But, Golf War has so much potential as long as it's fucked up. And this game has so many secrets that I feel like people haven't looked at yet.
Oh yeah. There's
And
still so much to
because of
say.
that, everyone's like, oh, the Aether story, you know. But it's just because we didn't get as many cutscenes as we did in Black Ops 3 and Black
Good
Ops
work,
4.
Strike Team.
You don't
Good
have
work.
that
Breach.
group to follow, so you
But I
don't
got
get
a
those
feeling Omega
cutscenes. You're
Group is
following
I
just
do
Weaver and
think-
everyone else outside,
Yeah.
and you have to get the intel. Without
Yeah,
the
I
intel,
do
it's
think
not
the
hard.
presentation of the information is really bad. The presentation of it is really lackluster and kind of not great. But what's there, the pieces that are on the board, they still have the potential for fun for, you know, as we've seen in zombies in the past. Like, even taking like Black Ops 3, for example, when you look at what the story was, like, it was presented in such a beautiful way. It was so fun and engaging as we were going through it. But looking at it now, it's like, why did we need the souls? Why were we fighting this? What happens in the giant? Like, there's not a whole lot of immediate resolution in that whole storyline, because I imagine it got cut short with Black Ops 4 and the tragedy that was and whatever. But even though that was presented well, the actual story itself was a little, at least in my eyes, a little convoluted and nonsensical in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But in Cold War, it's a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer, and it has a lot more potential to go in an interesting direction. And it hasn't gotten there yet, but I think the potential is definitely there.
Well, I think that is a really good place to end it on. You made perfect points, and I agree with that. Thank you for taking the time to come and answer some questions. I'm sorry I didn't get into like a lot of the personal questions, but you're really easy to talk to, dude.
Thank you. I like talking zombies. I do it a lot on my channel. You know, I can go on for hours.
Yeah, so, hey, make sure to go check out Doughnut's channel. I'm going to put the link in the description. Go like and subscribe. Watch his videos. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like. But have a wonderful day. Do you want to say anything? Do you want to say goodbye?
No, thank you for the interview, podcast, whatever. Thank you. It was really fun to kind of just chill out, talk about some zombies, and I'm excited to see where your channel goes. So thank you for the opportunity.